Welcome to the world's fastest half mile. It's Thunder Valley, and welcome to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series O'Reilly 200 on Speed. Hello everyone, Rick Allen with you today, and obviously we've had thunder go through the area with the storms, but it's about to get loud down on pit road, and we want to bring in two of the guys who are going to give us those stories, Ray Dunlap and Adam Alexander. Ray, what are we hearing on top of the story about Ron Hornaday winning 6 in a row? Is there other stories to talk about?
Well, absolutely. Everybody's talking about Hornaday down here, Rick, no question about it, but I think maybe they're overlooking the Roush Fenway team. Check out this number 6 truck right here at Colin Brown. When you talk about concrete racing, this has been the team to beat. 3 wins at Dover, a couple at Nashville, and a couple here at Bristol. Colin Brown qualifies 4th tonight, and I think Hornaday is going to have a couple of guys to worry about, and I think the 6 is one of them. Adam?
And Ray, you could add Kyle Busch to that list. He has been dominant in his career here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Back in the Truck Series for the first time in a while, but he has not forgotten how to drive. In the top 3 series of NASCAR, Rowdy has led more than 1,300 laps here at Thunder Valley. 145 coming a year ago when he won in the Truck Series. And Richie Waters back as his crew chief. Doug George has gone over to work with Eric Almirola at Billy Blue Motorsports. We'll see if that crew chief change can help take Kyle Busch back to victory lane at Bristol.
Well, he's going to have to go by Ron Hornaday. Hornaday, very strong and going for 6 in a row. Let's get our pre-race ceremonies underway. We go for our invocation.
For tonight's presentation of colors by the Dobbins-Bennett High School Air Force Junior ROTC. And tonight's invocation by Captain Kevin Millsaps, chaplain for the 278th Armored Cavalry Regiment.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Almighty Lord, the giver of life, we bow our heads before you in thanksgiving. We gratefully acknowledge your presence among us, and we evoke your holy name with awe and reverence. As we thank you for these blessings, we humbly ask you to remember our President, all of our civil authorities, and all members of our armed forces. May the continuing sacrifices of our brave men and women in uniform allow us to enjoy the fruits of liberty, and may they contribute to the peace, prosperity, and security of the entire world. We also ask you, Lord, to be the companion, guide, and protector of these drivers and their crews. You traveled with the 2 disciples on the road to Emmaus after the glorious resurrection, and you warmed their hearts with your grace. Travel also with these drivers and gladden their hearts with your presence here this evening. As they run this race set before them, surround them with your holy angels and keep them safe from all dangers. By your divine power, grant them a successful journey and safe arrival at the finish line. For you are the way, the truth, and the life, and in you, Lord Jesus Christ, we place our hope and trust. We praise, honor, and glorify you, together with your Father, and your all-holy, good, and life-giving Spirit, now and forever and unto the ages of ages. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please continue to stand and place your hand over your heart as we welcome CBS recording artist Jay Moore from Memphis, Tennessee, to perform our national anthem.
Electricity in the air. The fans are ready for a great race here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World. Visit campingworld.com to check out this week's featured special Genturi exhaust systems. And brought to you by Toyota. For the latest Toyota racing information, visit toyotaracing.com. Toyota, moving forward. If you missed the setup, let's get you reset up. We go trackside to Krista Voda.
All right, thanks, Rick. I'm still over the wall on the track. It's crazy here at Bristol. Here are some of the headlines. If you missed the setup, Ryan Newman on the pole, Mike Skinner alongside Ron Hornaday qualified third. Also, Kyle Busch, he's a defending winner of this race. He's back in the field, and he's back with his former crew chief, Richie Waters. Johnny Benson here at the track. He's just a spectator. He wants more. He wants to race. He is recovering nicely. The weather has been a factor today. So far, so good. We're going to get this race in. And just so you know, Rick, from the distance from the setup over here to the resetup, 17 people stopped me to say they can't believe I walked the banking in these heels. Just for you.
Well, thank you, Krista. Now go grab yourself a chair and enjoy this race because it's going to be a great one. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip with you for the entirety of this one. Now, what is it going to take for Ron Hornaday to win this race?
Well, we have what's arguably the best field we've had all year long. In addition to the Colin Browns and the Mike Skinners and the Rick Crawfords, we've got Ryan Newman. We've got Brad Keselowski. We've got a track record holder here, Kenny Schrader, to try to take this win away from Ron Hornaday. And not only that, Michael, this may be the most challenging racetrack that these guys will run this year.
Well, Phil, I've been fortunate enough to win here, as you have, a couple of times. And when I got my wins, I remember from the time they threw the green flag till they took the checkered, even though I had a great car and was out front, never took anything for granted. It can happen so fast here at Bristol. So you got to be on your game, and you also have to expect the unexpected all night long.
One of the good things, too, is Ron Hornaday starts in the third position. The average starting position of the winner of this race, 3.7. So he falls into that category. We'll see if Ron Hornaday can continue to make history here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Let's go for our command.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the words we've all been waiting to hear, O'Reilly 200 Grand Marshal Dean Cook.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of O'Reilly Auto Parts and Action Automotive of Clinton, Tennessee, gentlemen, start your engine!
Does firing the engines calm the nerves of Ron Hornaday, or does that just amp them up? Welcome back under the lights for the O'Reilly 200 from Bristol Motor Speedway. The engines are fired up, and the trucks are getting ready to roll out onto the racetrack. 77 degrees. We've had showers pass through earlier today. It's mostly cloudy, but we don't expect any more precipitation until the checkered flag flies. The starting grid will roll across the bottom of your screen. Ryan Newman claims his first pole in his third Truck Series start. Let's take a look at our ZMAX track description of this very difficult 0.533 mile racetrack.
What an incredible racetrack. As you can see, the corners at 26 degrees at the bottom, up to 30 degrees at the very top. Straightaways banked a little bit. Short straightaways. No time to rest here at this racetrack, Mike.
Yeah, and like I said in our opening, it happens very quickly here. So you really have to anticipate, Bill. When you're coming up off turn 4, you need to know what's happening down in turn 1 because you're going to be there before you know it, and you can get in trouble in a hurry.
A relatively short race. We look at our Royal Purple race analysis. This one just 200 laps, just over 100 miles.
You can see the purse is just under $500,000, and our pit window, if we were to go green, is about 160 or 70 laps. This is a track position racetrack. A lot of these crew chiefs will run this race backwards. They'll back time from 200 laps, get in their pit window, maybe the only stop they make.
Well, and Phil, you've made a great point. And if there's some cautions early, some of these teams might say, I don't know about pitting at all. We've seen guys do that before where they really stretch their wind out. That's sort of the in vogue thing to do these days. Stretch it as far as you can. We saw it last week with the Cup cars up in Michigan. You're liable to see it tonight here at Bristol.
Let's take a look at a few drivers in our speed spotlight. We'll start off with Ray Dunlap.
You know, Rick, Kenny Schrader's certainly one of my favorite racers of all time. This year, he'll run over 100 nights of racing. Only his second start this season in that Federated Auto Parts Chevrolet. But how about his upcoming Labor Day race schedule? Friday at Toledo, Saturday at Peevely, Sunday at Lincoln, Nebraska, Monday at DuQuoin, and Wednesday at Eldora for the Prelude. This guy races anywhere and anything, and tonight I think he very well could be a threat to win here at Bristol. Adam?
And Ken Schrader, Ray, like so many other drivers, loves racing in front of their hometown crowd, and that's exactly what Nate Monteith is going to do here tonight, driving the 09 for Billy Blue Motorsports. He's got a hometown sponsor on board as well, Graceway Pharmaceuticals. He starts 20th tonight. He would love to make this a memorable night for him and all the local fans that have come out to watch him race. Bill?
Adam, what a great story with us, number 48. That beautiful Chevrolet truck right there. That is Hermie Sadler. Great credentials, former Rookie of the Year in the Busch Series, two-time winner in that series. Let me tell you how this came about. Joe Dinette won $76.5 million in the Virginia Mega Millions lottery jackpot. He said, I want to do something. He donated $100,000 to Hermie and Elliott Sadler's foundation and the Victory Junction gate cap. And that's why they're going to run this 48 truck right here. And Joe, what do you think he did when he found out he had the winning ticket to win that Virginia Mega Millions lottery? What do you think he did, Rick?
Well, I think he probably called Hermie.
He went to the race in Richmond. He set the ticket on the table and went to the race in Richmond. Joe Dinette is responsible for this truck, for Hermie Sadler being here, and Hermie's going to start in the 13th position, Mikey.
And Joe's also responsible for a lot of kids getting to go to camp, which is a wonderful thing. See this cat here? This is Brad Keselowski. This dude is a winner. He won at the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series level at Talladega. 3 wins this year, including last week in the Nationwide Series at Michigan, but he's never won the Camping World Truck Series. Tonight, he attempts to become the 20th driver that has accomplished the feat of winning in all 3 of NASCAR's major leagues.
Tonight we've got 2 cameras that will give us different perspectives as to the driver's perspective. One will be the 14 Ford onboard of Rick Crawford. He starts 9th. This is his 10th Bristol race, and our other camera is carried by Kyle Busch, last year's winner. He will start 6th with the Toyota onboard, giving us all of the action from inside the cockpit and what he has as a perspective going around this just over half-mile racetrack. Coming out of turn number 4, green flag in the air. We're underway at Thunder Valley. Again, Ryan Newman on the bottom of the racetrack.
A little bit loose up top.
They're 3 wide behind him going into turn 3.
Boy, Skinner drove that thing down in the 3rd turn, didn't he? And grabbed the lead from Ryan Newman.
Colin Brown had a little bit of contact. Kyle Busch got a little bit sideways over in turn 4, but straightened it out.
Mike Skinner now with a 5-truck length lead over Ryan Newman on lap 2. Behind them, Ron Hornaday looking to make history, but he has got 198 laps to go before that is even in his mind.
Great side-by-side battle. Colin Brown in 5th. Kyle Busch racing for that 5th position. Outside's looking pretty good so far, Mikey.
It's just really tough, Phil, to get down on the bottom of the racetrack, pinch your truck down and complete a pass. You can see Kyle Busch does it there. Made a good strong run through the center of the corner. That's where you want to make your time. You dive into the corner too hard, you'll get sideways, you'll get loose. So you try to make your time through the middle of the corner.
Now, when they repaved this racetrack, a lot of drivers said they made it a 2-wide racetrack where guys could pass on the outside as opposed to having to move somebody out of the way and get by them on the inside.
Well, we've seen more side-to-side racing here tonight than we would have seen a couple of years ago all night long, because there are options. You can go down in the corner and run the high side if you need to. Used to at Bristol, you would roll down in the corner and knock somebody out of the way. Now you got a way to pass them.
Remember, on the right side of your screen, that's the very start of the race. Lap number 1, you see the 51 get his nose in between the 16 and the 6. A little bit of contact. Watch this again now. Colin Brown on the outside in the 6. Kyle's going to bring his truck up here. That was actually the other end of the racetrack.
But you see, that's the guys, they have choices now, Phil. He wants to try to make it 3 wide on lap 1. He thought he could get between those guys.
There's some side-by-side racing.
Rob Fuller on the outside.
Yep, Matt Crafton on the inside, and that Menards 88 Chevrolet.
Jared Fitzpatrick, the 4 truck. That's another one of the trucks out of the Kevin Harvick stable. And there's a truck right now, the 2 of Ryan Newman. That's the lead truck out of the KHI stable right there, running 2nd behind Skinner.
Looks like he's got a little bit better truck right now than Skinner. Skinner squirted out to a 10-truck length lead right off the start, but Ryan has just slowly and surely crept right back up on Skinner.
What are we hearing from that team, Ray?
Well, I just want to let you know that as Mike Skinner told us at the top of the show, they had trouble with their brakes in the second practice. He didn't even get out onto the racetrack, so they really didn't know what to expect. And they just came on the radio a few moments ago to remind Ryan Newman of that Skinner may have a brake problem, so keep your eye on him. If you get to the inside, keep an eye on that 5, and whether or not he crowds you, he may still not have a good set of brakes.
Looks like he's moved up the racetrack. He wants to give Ryan a little bit of room there if he wants it. He's making some pretty good time up there, though.
With as much banking as this racetrack has, are you hard on brakes here?
Not really. You really want your truck to roll. You want to roll off the gas entering the corner, Phil, and just really get the thing free through the center of the turn without using a whole lot of brakes. So good point, Rick. You're not using a lot of brakes.
Good battle for 10th, right side of your screen. David Starr, the 24 truck, takes over 10th from Jason White in a 23 truck. You know, I was talking to Rick Wren. These trucks have about 15 points less gear this year. That means these engines will turn about 300 less RPMs. And Rick said that actually has caused us to use a little more brake this year than we did last year, even though they don't use a great deal of brakes here, a little bit more now than last year.
And another thing that'll make your truck go faster, Phil, is like you said, you want to roll through the middle, you need your momentum. You can't be breaking that truck down a whole lot because you don't have that gear to pull you back up off the turn.
Battle for 19th. J.R. Fitzpatrick on the inside. Again, that's 71. Rob Fuller on the outside.
Fuller's a good story, huh? He's a guy that has been a crew. He wants to be a race car driver, but in order to do that, he's been a crew guy, working a shock expert, working on different teams. Now he's getting his chance to drive. He did a great job in our last outing, and again tonight, solid qualifying effort and running inside the top 20.
Battle for 4th. Ryan Scott, the 16 on the bottom. Kyle Busch takes it away from him.
On the outside, too, so that bodes well for some great racing tonight.
Kyle Busch is on the move. Battle for the lead. Here comes the 2 of Ryan Newman. We saw Ryan Newman on the pole, but Skinner took the spot away from him early. And now Skinner's got his hands full. Here comes Ryan Newman looking again.
You know, I watched Ron Hornaday in practice, and he was one of the only trucks that turns 1 and 2 was running in the second lane all the way through the corner and making some really, really good lap times. There's definitely an outside groove here at this racetrack.
Mike Skinner riding a little bit higher on the racetrack than Ryan Newman. There he goes up the track once again.
You can check out Skinner holding off Newman on the bottom, but on the top. And here comes Kyle Busch. He drove around the outside of Ron Hornaday. So right now, Phil, it looks like that outside group might be a little faster.
Adam Alexander, what's happening with Kyle?
He said a few things on the radio, some that we cannot repeat. The gist of it, though, the truck is tight, but you would not know it. He has been around 2 trucks in the last 3 laps, and see out his front windshield. He is reeling in Newman, and leader Mike Skinner. Busch is on the move.
And we've got to remember how hungry Kyle Busch is. His last NASCAR win was 16 starts ago at New Hampshire in the Nationwide Series. And how many second place finishes has he got?
Well, 16 starts ago, he usually wins every other starter though. So you're right, he's starving at this point.
He is starving and moving toward the front. There's Taylor Malsom in the 81. And on his outside, James Buescher in the 13.
It's really the top 3 rookies right there. Johnny Sauter to the 13 is second. Taylor Malsom leads that rookie battle. And James Buescher in the 10 is third.
And then throw Rob Fuller in there. A few starts for the 71 as well. Great side-by-side action early on here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
A little bit of progress from Malsom down on the bottom, but it looks like Sauter's going to get the better run off the turn. Fuller's running right in the middle. Neither one of those guys have really anywhere to go.
They'll try to make their way around the 57 truck of Norm Binning. That's going to halt Taylor Malsom's progress for a moment.
Looks like it's been pretty cordial early on in this race. 23 laps in it. Adam Alexander.
Talking about Taylor Malsom and his moves through the field, the reason they qualified so poorly in this race, Rick, they went out early in the qualifying session, and if you remember, qualifying was delayed by rain. They had to dry the racetrack. It was a tough situation for Taylor Malsom, so he is now being very patient, working his way through the field, and speaking of patience, Kyle Busch trying to pick off another one.
He has found something up there at the top of the racetrack. Now that's even higher than the second lane. That's really more like the third lane around this racetrack. Ryan Newman now is going to move up to see how that outside is, but just halted Kyle's progress, but he's going to give him some room on the outside. Now he's going to let him go.
Pretty good pace here set by Kyle Busch and Mike Skinner as they continue to put a few different trucks a lap down. Butch Miller, Nick Tucker, and Wayne Edwards have pulled their trucks into the garage early.
You know, you talked, Rick, about it's been pretty cordial so far, but Skinner's getting ready to pull up on the back of this field. We've got Todd Bodine, that battle we saw with Taylor Mossam and Sauter and those guys, James Busher, that's just ahead of our leaders.
Right.
When the leaders are coming, business picks up because you have to push and shove to get somebody out of your way. You can't afford to go a lap down in this short race.
Saw a little contact between the 25 of Terry Cook and the 30 of Todd Bodine. As you mentioned, there's our leader right there, the 5 of Mike Skinner, right behind the 25 of Terry Cook. Already has split the 52 of Kenny Schrader a lap down.
Schrader set our track record here in qualifying a few years back. And Skinner continuing to put trucks a lap down. He's got Kyle Busch in his rearview mirror. Can Kyle Busch make it back into victory lane? 1 year ago, he did it before.
Get there.
Welcome back to the O'Reilly 200, Bristol Motor Speedway. We are slowed for our first caution, lap 35. We have a problem on the racetrack with 30 of Todd Bodine and the 81 of Taylor Malsom. Those two get into each other and big accidents. Now they're on pit road. Let's go to Adam Alexander.
Mike Skinner started on the outside of row 1, led a handful of laps early. He will be the first of the top 5 to hit his pit stall. He said loose on the bottom. They will make an adjustment. 4 tires. This time they will come back and get fuel. Kyle Busch, who was the leader when the caution came out, has been the opposite. He said his truck is tight. As you see one of Skinner's crew members get hung up on a hood pin. When they come down pit road, you will see Kyle Busch, top of your screen. They will make a track bar adjustment, 4 tires, and then come back for fuel. Ray?
George Abood on this number 33 Chevrolet for Hornaday. He's saying he's a little bit loose off. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment in the right front tire. They're going to go 4 tires right here. This may be the only stop of the night. Down in pit stall number 1, it's Ryan Newman. He has said it feels like there's too much air pressure in the tires. Newman's going to be the first one off, I believe. Him and Timothy Peters had a great battle.
We talked about race strategy earlier. That's coming out on lap 35, and here's the reason for the caution.
These two trucks were racing just ahead of our leaders, Phil. You called it during the break. You said, I bet we don't make it back to the broadcast before there's a crash. See, Todd Bodine gets sideways and runs into Taylor Mossam, wrecking both of those trucks.
Yeah, just got a little bit loose and had to chase his truck up the hill. Made contact with Taylor. Tough break for both these 2 trucks.
As far as race strategy goes, we've completed 37 laps. Now,
that may
potentially they could make it all the way to the checkered flag.
That may be it. Absolutely.
Ray and those guys Ray and Adam might be able to relax for a little bit. I don't know that the leaders are going to come back to pit road the rest of this race. They got their stop done early, and they're ready to race to the checker.
There's Kylan going to get some fuel.
Adam Alexander.
And Kyle Busch coming back in at lap 38. He will get his fuel and pull away, and it will be interesting to see how this cycles out because a couple of guys had issues on pit road. Mike Skinner being one of them, as you see Busch driving off the pit lane. Ray?
Down on my end, it's a track bar adjustment on the number 6 Conway Ford for Colin Brown, and they put fuel in that truck. They were expecting the 33 of Ron Hornaday to come to pit road. He saw the 51 dive down there. Wren said, come on, let's get some fuel, and Hornaday missed the entrance. So it appears that Hornaday will... Is he coming to pit road now, guys?
He is.
Here comes a 33, so he does want to get the fuel in there, but they're going to give up some track position here, and it looks like the 2 is on its way down for Ryan Newman also. So both of these trucks going for fuel, but they missed the original window. Adam?
And Mike Skinner will come down on the same sequence with the 2 and the 33. The reason Skinner delayed on coming back to pit road, he was penalized too fast on the pit lane. Tough break for Skinner. We saw the issue with one of his crew members getting hung up on a hood pin when he came around to change the front tires. And on top of that, he was caught speeding. The man who led laps early here tonight going to have to battle back from some early adversity.
So problems continue for Todd Bodine at Bristol Motor Speedway. Hasn't been to victory lane and probably won't be there tonight. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Green flag just flying. Jason White in that 23 out in front. They did not come on to pit road. Our top 3 did not. The 87 of Chris Jones as well as Hermie Sadler in the 48.
He's got Brian Scott looking to the outside of him. Does Hermie off turn 4. What a great start Jason White got there. Qualified in the top 10 with that 23 truck. Took advantage of track position. It looks like he's going to try to drive away from these guys.
Great paint scheme on that 48 for Hermie Sadler, one of our broadcast partners during the week. Midweek race for Hermie.
Great looking truck right there. You see the autism puzzle pieces on board that 48 truck.
Check out this guy running second, Phil.
And remember now, this 16 truck right here is the same truck that won on concrete at Dover.
Got his first win in the Camping World Truck Series.
Chris Jones had a great qualifying effort in that.
Brian got real loose.
Brian was trying to get on the inside of Chris and got sideways, and you look there to the outside. Here comes Timothy Peters. Another strong run for that truck.
Timothy has really been impressive ever since he jumped in that 17 truck. Tied his career best finish last time out in Nashville with a 4th place finish.
Timothy Peters gets by the 16 of Brian Scott. Remember, Brian Scott has a broken right wrist, so he drives with an actual cast on his right wrist. It's going to be difficult here at this track.
On the outside, that 99, Brett Butler making one of his first truck series starts. He's trying to look on the outside of the 84 truck of Chris Fontaine. Can't quite get there.
Brad Keselowski, the 29 truck on the inside. Brad was one of the trucks that had to go to the very back for the start of the race because of unapproved adjustments, and we had a couple guys miss the driver's meeting. They had to go to the back as well.
One of those guys was Kenny Schrader. He got a lap down, and courtesy of Aaron's, he got a lucky dog. He's back on the lead lap. That's what Butler in the 99 and Fontaine in the 84 are racing for right now, trying to be in a position to get a lap back and get back in this race.
Chris Fontaine right now has that spot. He has pulled away a little bit from Brett Butler.
Look at that pack of trucks.
2 and 3 wide as they go down the backstretch. Wad going into turn number 3 and 4.
I sure do like watching these races on speed.
Troubles again. The 09 gets turned around. Nate Monteith.
And Dennis Setzer got a little piece of that in that 8 truck.
Nate Monteith is just from right down the road here. Certainly got a lot of fans watching. Didn't want to wind up crash, but it looks like he gets away without a whole lot of damage, Phil.
How about Chris Jones in that 87 truck has remained in the 2nd position ever since this restart.
Take another look at why our second caution of the night has happened. Nate Monteith in the 09.
Little contact from the 13 of Johnny Sauter coming off. There's his contact with Dennis Setzer in the 8 truck.
Second caution has come out. We'll be back. Welcome back. Green flag going back in the air. It's Jason White in the 23 that is in front of this field.
We've seen that team and Jason White just make steady, constant improvement. Every week they get better and better. He's got the lead right now. And Rick, he's led more laps tonight than he had in all his other starts in the Truck Series. Tonight he's led more than any of those starts.
His career tonight.
All of them added together, he hadn't led as much as he has tonight. What a great night for Jason so far.
They had a 4th place finish at Dover, looking to improve on that. There's Kyle Busch. He was one of our early leaders. Gets to the inside of the 16 of Brian Scott.
Talk about how hungry Kyle Busch is to get back into victory lane, and he's moving up once again, trying to take 3rd away from Brian Scott.
They have the 17 of Timothy Peters trying to get around the 9 of Max Pappas. Max is trying to stay in position to get that Aaron's lucky dog. Great side-by-side battle right there. Adam, what's going on with Brian Scott?
It'll be me, Phil. I'm down on this end. I wanted to let you know they put fuel only on that first pit stop, and they plan on being done for the day right now. That's their only time down pit road. Brian Scott said his truck really came to him in the long run during practice. They had 85 laps on their first set of tires, and he said it really didn't fall off that much. He's liking the high side right now, and he's thinking they're going to be good to go to the end right now, running all the way the distance without another pit stop.
I guess Kyle Busch may be under the same strategy as he is working the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get by Brian Scott right now.
Good battle for the 15th spot on the right-hand side of your screen. There's Mike Skinner. Remember, he incurred a penalty for speeding on exit of the pits. There's Ryan Newman. Remember, he came in late along with Ron Hornaday on one of those on one of their pit stops.
Really hard to think you can win a 200-lap race, a race where you click off laps every 16 seconds. It's hard to think you can take a penalty, go to the back of the field, and still get a W.
It would be very, very difficult.
Especially when the caution flew originally, because that pretty much puts everyone in their window of thinking, I can make it. I don't have to come on pit road again.
2 years ago, Johnny Benson pitted on lap 105 and won this race. Yep. But most of the crew chiefs in the garage do not think that will happen again. They think you're going to have to get your pit work done early. They don't think that you can even stop now, It's 65 miles. Caution on the racetrack right now. These guys are going to have an opportunity, possibly if they want to come back down pit road. But most of the crew chief said you're not going to be able to give up your track position from that first pit stop in order to and have any shot at coming back to win this thing.
This time it's debris that has brought out the caution flag, and Jason White will stay in front of the field.
Well, and not only was he in the front, he was driving away from him. He had a half a front straightaway lead on the field.
Third caution of the night. The fewest caution flags at Bristol for a truck race is 6. We'd like to break that tonight.
This is what I learned in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Speed is only half of racing. The other half is constantly figuring out what you're going to do next. And what's next is in 0.2 seconds. Now, I wouldn't call it rocket science. I just call it science while driving the rocket. I'm Steve Wallace, and I race in the NASCAR Nationwide Series.
Tomorrow night, it's Big Block Thursday on Speed. First at 8, Pink's All Out heats up the Heartland at Yes Truck Fans ORP. Then at 9, the Wolfpack chases a wanted drug dealer on Jack. Then on Wrecked at 10, Bad Luck strikes O'Hare, sending the crew into panic mode. That's Big Block Thursday tomorrow night, Phil.
What a great lineup. And my son Stefan loves Wrecked. Just absolutely loves that show.
A lot of fun. Aaron's lucky dog goes to Max Pappas. So, as you mentioned, Michael, he was fighting for that spot. He got it, so he will be able to go back on the lead lap.
Yeah, he took his track position, got back in the game. Aaron's gave him a lucky dog. Now Brett Butler will line up in that position to try to get himself back on. Speaking of Wrecked, my sweet daughter Macy, she had a bit of a crash at school the other day. Was doing a back handstand and fell over on her arm and broke it. And I just want to tell her I love her, and I'm proud of her for her attitude. She's just fighting right through it, and I'm sorry that happened, my little angel.
She's awful tough, very tough. Let's go back down to Adam Alexander.
A bad break for Macy and a bad break on track for Brad Keselowski. They came to pit road with an electrical issue. No voltage is what the driver said behind the wheel. And so they've talked about swapping batteries and perhaps changing some belts. They have not done that yet, but he is coming back to pit road. We will watch their progress, but a tough situation in the early stages of this race, actually nearing the midway point for Brad Keselowski.
It's time to take a closer look into the camping experience with Camping World's Destination Recreation.
It's Camping World's Destination Recreation.
You know, there's a lot of times when I get to my favorite campsite and find out that my neighbor is parked in really tight. Or maybe I'm having a party out in this area, and I definitely don't want that to get ruined by the exhaust coming out of my generator. So I go to Camping World and I pick up this product. It's called a Genturi exhaust removal system. It's real simple to put together. You just slide the pipe on like this. There's a little bit of a pin here that'll make sure that it stays right in place. Lock that in, and then I just take these other 2 sections, slide them together like that, stack 1, 2, and 3 on top of each other, and then I'll attach this to the side of the RV. Now, what's great about this is not only is it going to take all the exhaust away from the people and take it up and over your camper, but it's also going to help muffle the sound from your generator. So don't ruin your next party. Genturi has it solved.
Great thing about that product, you can just stick that on your neighbor's exhaust too, if that's getting on your nerves. So
Yeah, if he doesn't, accommodate you, then you accommodate him.
if he doesn't go to Camping World and get that exhaust system, just
I tell you what, I got back from my Washington, D.C. trip, and Camping World took care of us, and we took an RV, and it was one of the most memorable things that my kids will have ever done in their life, and my wife and I loved it as well. So we're thinking very highly of that.
yeah, and winning a race at the Camping World Series would be way up on Jay White's list too. He's leading
Probably
this
the
race.
top. Probably the top of his
Exactly.
list.
He would be just as happy about Camping World as you were, Rick, getting a victory here. And wow, that truck's fast. Not only is he start up front, he's driving away from these guys.
Let's see if he can hang on. Green flag back in the air. Jason White in front of Timothy Peters.
Good start for Timothy Peters. Going to try to look to the outside of Jason White. Jason ran his fastest lap of the race on lap number 60, so the used tires have not hurt him.
Timothy Peters running in the middle of the racetrack. Jason White trying to hug that bottom area right by the apron. Here comes Kyle Busch looking to the bottom of the track again, trying to get by Brian Scott for third.
It is tough to make those passes on the bottom of the racetrack. It appears everybody moves up. Really get some good bite up there off of the corner.
and you just can't let your truck slide out to the wall on exit. You got to pinch it down a little bit, and it makes it really hard to make any progress down there.
We talked about Ron Hornaday trying to make history once again. He's running 7th now, so Ron Hornaday trying to move forward, putting himself in position to get that 6th win in a row in the Camping World Truck Series.
And he's won them every which way on every other kind of track you could imagine. Little track, big track. He's won with a dominant truck. He's won with a truck that he just had to outwill the competition in. And so I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibilities that he gets that thing to victory lane again tonight, despite the fact we haven't seen or heard a whole lot out of him yet.
You can never count that guy out. He's tenacious.
We were talking about the fact that the 2 guys running up front, relatively unknown to running up front. That the 23 of Jason White and the 17 of Jason Peters. And now here we go, Ryan Newman trying to get by Colin Brown, moving toward the front once again after starting on the pole. Those 2 guys up front, though, ran their fastest laps on 75 and lap 76. That was just 3 laps ago.
Yeah, Jason White's truck is getting better and better. Timothy Peters now, he's also, as you mentioned, he's running his fastest lap just in the last handful of laps. The racetrack looks like it may be taking some rubber right now, and the speeds are picking up.
Well, but I'm also, Jason White's going to ask that truck to run its fastest lap on those same tires in another 75 or 80 laps. Can those tires do that? I mean, we know once you pit it at lap 30-some, you're going to have an advantage later in the race, but I'm not sure you can ask those tires to be that fast, continually faster all night long. They got to give up at some point.
Saw a big wiggle out of Mike Skinner right there. He had Rick Crawford underneath him. Rick's going to get by, going to pull up in front of the 24 truck of David Starr.
We saw Chad McCumbee falling back in the 07, the Tiwi truck. Mike Skinner again made a little bobble. The 14 of Rick Crawford got by, but then he was able to get back past that 14 of Crawford. Now we see Kyle Busch looking once again to the bottom. We've seen Kyle Busch make passes, but it's been on the outside of trucks tonight. Want to take a look through the top 10. We want to drop back, and let's start with Adam.
And we start at the top of the board. Remember back in June, late May, early June, when this driver, Jason White, finished back-to-back in the top 10. They haven't had a lot of luck since then, but feeling very good here tonight. The strategy so far, stay on the racetrack. How long will the tires hold out? That's what Michael just asked. We don't know, but right now the view from the front, very good for Jason White. And right behind him, a great strategy for Chad Kendrick and his driver, Timothy Peters. When they came down pit road at lap 37, fuel only, they made an adjustment, no tires. That has allowed him to stay up in the 2nd position, Ray.
And I'll tell you, when you look at that 16 team and Brian Scott, I think you've got to give a lot of the credit of how good this team has run this year to crew chief Jeff Hensley. I really believe so far this season he has probably made some of the best pit calls I have seen, including that big win at Dover. And Jeff Hensley has said, we have made our bed, we're sleeping in it. Right now he may lose a position to Kyle Busch. Looks like the 51 has got that spot. Adam?
And we may start to get the answer on how those tires will pay off on a long run. The reason is the man that just got around Brian Scott, Kyle Busch, he took 4 tires when he came down pit road at lap 37. His crew chief Richie Waters told me before the race, the setup for this truck, very similar to a year ago when Kyle dominated and went to victory lane, right?
Talking about Matt Crafton, when you go to the 5th position in that Menards truck, he said this is one of his favorite racetracks we run at, but for some reason they just can't seem to get the results. Last couple of races we've run here, 3 times in a row they finished 12th, and last year a 21st. So Crafton believes they're better than that right now, running in the top 5. The number 60 is Stacey Compton. He is loose on entry. He just really can't barrel it into the corner the way he wants to. He said on the radio he's put 2 rounds in the front of the brakes, and that has helped it a good bit. Ron Hornaday has begun to make progress back to the front in that Georgia Boots truck. Remember, he and Ryan Newman, his teammate, 2 of the guys that didn't make it onto pit road the right time the first time, but Hornaday up to 7th now, and believe it or not, I don't think it'll be long before we see that 33 back to the top 5. Adam?
2009, Ray, has been a season that T.J. Bell would like to forget. No luck in the early part of the campaign, but things have gotten better and better. And even though they haven't had the results, their performance has been good. They got their first top 10 of the year 2 weeks ago at Nashville and trying for more Tennessee magic here tonight, although he's getting a look from the pole sitter, Ryan Newman, Ray.
You know, when we look at these KHI trucks, what a run tonight. With Hornaday in 7th, we go back to Newman in 9th, and right there in 10th, the number 4 truck. This is the first time in Camping World Truck Series history that we have had a team enter 3 races in the same event where all 3 of those trucks are former winners. The truck that Newman is driving tonight is chassis 14. He used it to win at Atlanta. J.R. Fitzpatrick, who's right behind him in the 4, is driving chassis number 32. That is a truck that Kevin Harvick won earlier this year at Martinsville. And as I said earlier, Hornaday driving a truck that he used to win at IRP. So all 3 trucks from KHI tonight in this field, former winners. That's the first time it's ever been done. Guys?
And when you look at the 11th position, Mike Skinner had a great start to tonight's race on the outside of row 1, and he grabbed the early lead. But a miscue on pit road by the team and a spinning penalty for Mike put him back in the field. Eric Phillips, the crew chief, preached patience on the radio. Mike has been very patient. He's picked off a number of positions, and right now he finds himself in the 11th position. A caution tightening up this field would be huge for the 5 team to give them a chance to see the guys at the front and rally back there.
Well, thank you, Adam Alexander. Ray Dunlap's got a little bonus coverage on our drop back in the top 10, went all the way back to 11th. You see Kyle Busch in front of Timothy Peters now, so Kyle Busch has moved to 2nd. Jason White has continued to lead laps at Bristol Motor Speedway. Thunder Valley, could it be the site of Jason White's first win in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, or will it be known as the end of the streak for Ron Hornaday? You've got to stick around. We're at the halfway point here in Bristol. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Touch of Gray. Gets rid of some gray, never all. Brought to you in part by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Drunk driving over the limit, under arrest. And by Royal Purple. Visit royalpurple.com to find a dealer near you. Green Flag Racing continuing from Bristol Motor Speedway. Here is Jason White trying to hold off Kyle Busch.
Jason has done a terrific job once he got this lead with some great pit strategy. Kyle Busch has made his way up now to the rear bumper of Jason's truck. Looks like Jason's going to pull over to the bottom and give that outside groove to Kyle Busch.
And that's where he's made most of his passes tonight, but closing the door a bit there was Jason White as they made their way into turn 1.
Yeah, Jason's truck's been better down on the bottom than anyone else's I've seen. He's been able to catch lap traffic. Good trucks, you know, like he's passing Buscher here, good trucks, and complete the pass. So he's got a good truck down on the bottom of the track.
We may want to mention that Todd Bodine, the 30 truck, is back on the racetrack. Actually back on pit road right now, has been out on the racetrack, as well as the 81 of Taylor Malsom that were involved in that earlier incident.
James Buscher causing problems for the 23 and the 51, right?
And guys, he's trying to get out of the way, but his truck is so tight he can hardly control it. He said it's plowing like a dump truck. They took some tape off the grill earlier and made a big adjustment on the track bar to try to loosen him up a little bit, but it didn't help any. Buscher's so tight he can hardly get out of their way.
Well, it's working out for him, Ray. He's able to hang on, but I think Jason White's going to make his way around, and there he goes. He clears the 10 truck.
Boy, don't you know Jason White, this was a 115-lap race instead of a 200-lap race.
He is so enthusiastic about his racing, so passionate about what he does, and I know he knows he's holding off the best there is in Kyle Busch, and that's got to be a great feeling for a young cat like Jason White.
Right side of your screen, battle for 7th. Ryan Newman takes a spot from the 60 of Stacy Compton.
Hornaday has moved up to the 6th spot. Remember, last time we looked at Hornaday, he was running 7th, now up to 6th.
Battle for the lead continuing on the left side of your screen, now full screen. Kyle Busch looking to the bottom of the racetrack now to get by that 23 of Jason White.
Kyle got a good run up off the turn 2, got in the throttle, thing stuck. Side by side off of 4.
Drag race down the front stretch and into turn number 1. Kyle Busch still holding the bottom of the racetrack, doesn't have enough room to move up to get by Jason White. That momentum keeps White just in front of the 51.
What a great battle for the lead, side by side. Kyle Busch cannot complete the pass down on the bottom. He's going to keep trying, though.
Yeah, and Jason's giving him plenty of room on the bottom of the racetrack. This is terrific racing.
You mentioned how Jason White looked better on the bottom of the racetrack. Now looking pretty impressive up on the top of the track, too.
Well, he just continues to pick off very fast laps in that number 23 gunbroker.com truck. Fast and smooth, working his way through traffic.
Ron Hornaday trying to get by that 16 of Brian Scott. That's for the 5th position. We can't lose track of what Hornaday is trying to do here at this racetrack this season.
You know, Jason White obviously is a pit strategist. We see the battle continuing side by side to stay on this racetrack. If he elects to try to go the rest of the way, he's probably going to need some more caution laps.
Yeah, we heard from the guys down in the pits. They think it's somewhere around 45, 46 laps that you're going to need under caution to be able to stretch your gas all the way to the checker. We've only had half that many, Phil, so they've got to be a little bit concerned about whether these cautions are going to come or not.
Adam Alexander is at 51, getting a little frustrated with this battle for the lead.
I think that would be the word that describes it, although Kyle has been very quiet on the radio throughout this battle. Perhaps that's because he has his hands full. And I thought it was very interesting what his spotter told him. He said, save your stuff. You're going to have to deal with the 88 in a moment, speaking of that, Crafton. And now Mike Skinner, who was so strong in the early part of this race, is slowing. We'll have to make an unscheduled pit stop under green at lap 123. We'll follow up and see what the problem is for the 5.
And remember, that's our 3rd place point man, Mike Skinner. Will not be able to overcome this unscheduled pit stop under green.
Mike Skinner coming into this race 248 points behind Ron Hornaday. Hornaday setting a blistering pace, 3 wide as they go down the backstretch. This is for the lead. The 51 of Kyle Busch trying to take it away. They stayed 3 wide.
Kyle had the lead. He got a little bit loose. Jason White jumped it back up on the inside.
Kyle Busch takes the position away. He is your leader here at Bristol. Can he make it 2 races in a row at this racetrack? He was your 2008 winner, looking to make it another one in 2009.
Man, that's a huge advantage for Kyle Busch. He's been to pit road. He's got all his work done. We know he's set to go to the finish. And he's the only guy so far that's been able to drive up there and even catch Jason White. So a big advantage right now at this point in the race to Kyle Busch.
Now we're seeing the 81 or the 88, Matt Crafton in that Menard Chevrolet move up toward the front. He's running 3rd.
Remember now, look. Right side of your screen, Kyle Busch got the lead back. Watch when he gets down to this corner. This is turn number 1 on the inside of Johnny Sauter. He wiggles, he gets loose. That allowed Jason to get up beside him. That's why they ran side by side for a few more laps.
3 wide. Let's ride along with Kyle.
So he gets to the inside. Jason pulled up behind Johnny Sauter. Kyle takes the lead right here. They continue to run side by side. He hasn't gotten loose yet. It's going to probably be the other end of the racetrack. He gets down here beside Johnny Sauter. Watch this wiggle right here, Michael.
Whoa.
And in comes Jason White. And the 3 wide battle started. Now Kyle Busch has been able to make the pass. He's in front of Jason White. Here comes the 88 of Crafton for 2nd.
Remember, Adam told us, I believe, that they need to pay attention. The 88 was coming. And here he comes. He's caught Jason White here for the 2nd spot.
Remember, Timothy Peters stayed out on the racetrack with Jason White. Those two were running 1 and 2 at the start of this run. Now Timothy Peters has dropped back to 4th. Matt Crafton trying to take that 2nd spot away and will do it from Jason White, right?
And the spotter and the crew chief noticed that Kyle Busch was making it work on the bottom. They came on the radio to told Matt Crafton, you can dig on the bottom. That is the fastest part of the racetrack right now. The rubber is really coming in good there, and you see Crafton is able to really sweep it down low in the corners. He's making up a lot of time running the shortest distance around this track. Now let's go back to Adam with the leader.
And we talked before the race tonight, Ray, about the fact that there was a reunion at Billy Blue Motorsports. Left of your screen, you see Richie Waters. He is the guy that led Kyle Busch to so much success in this series 1 year ago. They made a switch in the off weeks, putting Richie back in charge of this 51. I asked him before the race, what's it like being back with Kyle? He said it's like riding a bicycle. We picked up right where we left off. Not only relationship-wise, but obviously as far as success, Kyle looking very solid here tonight.
It's a pretty darn fast bicycle, I'll tell you that much, because it's out front right now.
Ryan Newman just took over the 5th spot from Timothy Peters. That's Ryan right there, the 2 truck on the bottom of the racetrack. Ray, what's going on with Ryan?
Well, I was just thinking about him being in the same boat as Kyle Busch. They're here just to win the race. His Pringles Chevrolet's been pretty good. I asked his crew chief, Ernie Cope, a minute ago, will you consider putting on tires if we get a late race caution? He said, what we really want is a long green flag run here. He said, that's when Ryan's truck really comes to him the best. Newman moved up to 5th right now. Still behind Hornaday, but he is marching his way towards the front. A little bit of traffic that he's working right now, but Ernie believes that after they get past lap 140, which is in just a few laps, it would be too late to take the gamble to try to get fresh tires. Not enough time to get back to the front because there are too many trucks on the lead lap.
You mentioned too many. Right now we have 17 trucks on the lead lap. Ken Schrader a lap down. He's your first lap down truck. And we just saw Kyle Busch make his way by that 52 of Ken Schrader.
You can see that yellow truck, one behind Kyle Busch, while he was battling with Schrader in that 3-wide situation. Here comes Crafton just continually to close in. So a guy that might have something for Kyle Busch.
And just 2 trucks back, we see Hornaday and that number 33 again. Ron Hornaday looking to make it 6 wins in a row in the Camping World Truck Series. He's got a few trucks to get by, and probably the most important, the one out front. Kyle Busch leading once again at Bristol Motor Speedway. Rained out earlier this season, the prelude to the dream will air. Live pay-per-view on HBO Wednesday, September 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We know Ryan Newman will be in that, as well as the 52 of Ken Schrader will be a part of Prelude to the Dream in support of our injured and fallen heroes. We're slowed on the racetrack. The caution has come out once again for the 4th time in this race. Debris on the racetrack.
What a shootout this is going to set up now. We're going to bunch the field up. There's our leader, Kyle Busch, right there in the Miccosukee Toyota. But Matt Crafton now will be able to pull right up on his rear bumper.
And Ron Hornaday, who's been probably the fastest truck on the track over the last 10 or 15 laps, just a half a tenth to a tenth a second better than our leader, Kyle Busch. He's going to be up to that 3rd spot, and you know how he can restart these crazy races. He could be leading when we get the green the next time by.
Inside 50 laps to go. It's Kyle Busch that's in front of the field. Matt Crafton, Ron Hornaday are your top 3. Jason White, Ryan Newman round out the top 5. Will anyone come onto pit road? Doesn't look like we have any takers. Fourth caution of the night. They'll all stack up behind the 51 of Kyle Busch. Can you hold on to win the O'Reilly 200? Stay with us. Attention all you Digger fans, you can now get Digger on your computer and get free Digger videos, wallpapers, games, and more. Visit digger.ask.com today. Let's go trackside. Adam Alexander.
And Jason White made his way to pit road while we were away, giving a spot up in the top 5. But the reason they had not been on pit road all night, and they did not want to jeopardize themselves as far as running out of fuel is concerned, they came at lap 153. 4 tires and air pressure adjustment. They have come back for fuel, and Jason White now is indeed good to go the distance. Ray?
A really good truck tonight for the number 16 of Brian Scott, but he was just way too tight. Jeff Hensley originally had planned on leaving him out there, but they came in and put 4 tires on and raised the track bar to try to loosen up his truck a little bit, help him get through the corners. That was on lap 153. We'll see how it pays off.
Now they changed tires on that. Adding fuel, could that have helped loosen the truck up?
Definitely.
Give it a full tank of fuel?
A little more weight on the back.
But you can't do both on one pit stop in this series. Welcome back. The final 43 laps of the O'Reilly 200 coming up. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip with you up here in the booth. Adam Alexander, Ray Dunlap giving us all the stories on pit road. And the big story can be Kyle Busch making it to victory lane. Ron Hornaday is just 2 trucks back, though, and looking to make it 6 wins in a row. Who will be the spoiler tonight? Green flag back in the air.
Now it's time to see what they have. With only about 40 laps to go, you don't want to hold anything back.
And I'm really interested to see what that 3rd place truck of Ron Hornaday has. I know he's just getting hungrier and hungrier the closer he gets to the front of this field. Trying for his 6th straight victory in the Camping World Truck Series. What an accomplishment.
What a feat. And to tell you, I mean, he's running 3rd right now. He's got a very strong race truck, but he hasn't hinted that he could lead this race as of yet.
Well, remember, he missed pit road on his first round of pit stops, so that really hurt all his track position. So now he's just made his way back up into the 3rd spot. Doesn't seem to have anything for Matt Crafton right now in 2nd, but hey, we still have a long way to go.
Yeah, and he can see the leaders now. He's sort of filling out what his truck is like compared to them, so he's learning a lot right now. And we've seen guys be able to run down low, move up high, and make some time up there as well. So he's able to adjust his line, you know he's not ever going to give up. He's going to fight all the way to the checker. And the job he did at Kentucky and ORP and some of these races in this 6-race streak to win, darn, it was impressive.
So many streaks are on the line tonight. One of those being leading laps in a race. He's led the last 12 races as we see problems with the 60 of Stacy Compton. He looks like he's got it back under control. But Ron Hornaday has led in 12 races previously. That tied him with Jason Leffler for the second most races led. We see now the 14 of Rick Crawford slowing down.
Flat right rear tire on Crawford's truck, I believe. Looked like he might have got in the outside wall, and the right rear tire is definitely flat.
I saw Skinner go by right there. Rick's going to try to make his way to pit road here.
Chad McCumbee, I believe, is putting a little smoke out of the back of that 07, sure enough.
See the T-Wee logo on the hood of that truck. He came on board helping this SNS Greenlight Racing team in a few races this year.
He's running along on the lead lap, but he definitely has an issue there.
And it looks like the smoke's getting worse as well.
We got to keep our eye on that 07 of Chad McCumbee. If it gets worse, here's two teammates battling for position. Ryan Newman was going to the inside, and that Pringles number 2.
Did you see him get sideways, fighting that wheel inside that number 2 truck? Remember what happened at Atlanta last year, winding down the season? Hornaday racing for a championship, Newman racing for a victory in the race.
As teammates again.
As teammates. It wound up ultimately that spot could have cost Ron Hornaday that championship. And now tonight, Ron's racing along trying to make history and win a 6th, and he looks in his mirror. Who is this all over me? My darn teammate.
Well, little sheet metal damage to the 11 of TJ Bell. That back bumper flailing a bit.
3 wide racing right there. Colin Brown looks to the outside of J.R. Fitzpatrick. J.R. knows he's there. It gives him room. David Starr of the 24 truck. The Zachary Toyota was on the inside.
Look at that pack of trucks. Just all over each other. Adam, what are they saying about the left? He's falling back.
He's not said anything on the radio, and I think it's because his hands are full. He got roughed up, and perhaps one of the things he's fighting is the latter part of this run. The tires are starting to go away. They are one of the teams that took 4 tires when they pitted in that cycle of stops at lap 37 and 38, and he may have a tire down. TJ Bell dropping like a rock, Ray.
And Adam, let's go back and talk about the 33 of Ron Hornaday. You know, in the last 4 races that we've run here at Bristol, the 17 in trouble too, guys. We'll come back to that.
Yeah, caution coming out. Looks like the right front may have gone down on Timothy Peters. We saw some sparks as he was trying to keep it off the wall. Norm Benning also with issues in the 57. He slows on the racetrack. So our 5th caution of the night has come out. This may have given the 17 of Timothy Peters and the 23 of Jason White enough caution laps to make it the entire way, but the problem for the 17 is much worse.
Yeah, he's got a flat right front tire. He'll come in and change those tires and give up a ton of track position. This is going to hurt his chances for a good finish. See the right front go away. He felt it. He didn't barrel it down in that corner. He knew he had something wrong when we got there. The tire was flat. And at the same time, his teammate, TJ Bell, was getting beat around like a ping pong ball. So he was glad to have a break, I bet.
Yeah, Timothy did a nice job there. Had he gone in that corner, there's Norm Benning. That's what brought out our caution flag. Norm got into the wall coming off turn number 4. But had Timothy gone in that corner as hard as he could have, then more than likely he would have made contact with the wall. Here's Rick Crawford's on board. Watch Timothy, the 17 truck there. See him go way high. The 13 of Johnny Sauter got by him.
He caught a break because while he was having his trouble with a flat tire trying to get to pit road, Norm Benning loses his truck off turn 4. The caution flies, so Peters is going to get to make that stop without losing a lap.
A shootout to the checkered flag is coming up here on Speed. Can Kyle Busch hold off Matt Crafton and Ron Hornaday? Welcome back. 2 laps of green in the books since we last went away. 23 laps of racing to go. Kyle Busch is putting on a clinic now toward the end of this race.
His fastest lap of the race, the very last lap.
Lap 177 was Kyle Busch's fastest lap. Let's see if he improves on it this time by. He doesn't. But still putting a lot of distance between he and Matt Crafton and the 33 of Ron Hornaday. How about Rick Crawford running up here toward the front, but a lap down, 2 laps down actually for Crawford. What was the problem there, Ray?
Well, here's the situation, Rick. Look at all the contact on the outside of this tire. You know he got into the side of somebody, but down here we have 2 different valve stems. This is the interliner tire pressure valve stem, and right here's where the real tire valve stem should be. But you'll notice the contact on the inside of the rim here. broke that valve stem off. All the air comes out of the tire, and we're very, very lucky that there was an interliner here at Bristol, or it could have been a lot worse for Crawford. Yeah, he's a couple laps down, but he's still got a truck.
Yeah, he's got a fast truck too, Ray. He's running between our leader, Kyle Busch, and Matt Crafton in second. He's holding his own there, so a couple laps down. He's not going to get those back. There's a number of trucks that are one down, so he won't be the recipient of Aaron's lucky dog. But it sure does feel good when you've had a rough night to know you had a fast truck.
Sure does, and a great battle right now on the racetrack for fourth. The 16 of Brian Scott. Remember, he came in late, put right side tires on. He's trying to take over that fourth spot from Ryan Newman.
And he's doing it around the top of the racetrack. And for a race car driver, that's fun to see, to know you can pass high at Bristol. That used to be where you made ground back here in the 80s when DW rolled off 5 or 6 victories in a row right around the top of this racetrack, and that was fun to watch. It's good to see again here tonight.
You know, we lost that when we originally paved this racetrack with concrete. We lost that outside groove, but now when they completely refigured this racetrack a couple years ago, we got the outside back.
Jason White falling back behind that 4 of J.R. Fitzpatrick. We saw Jason White having a career night earlier as he was out front for quite a few laps. He ends up leading 86 laps at this racetrack. That's the most laps led. We'll see if Kyle Busch can get by him. Doesn't look like mathematically he can do it, so I believe Jason White is going to have the most laps led tonight. Kyle Busch, if he leads the remainder of these laps, will be at 81 laps led. Let's go back down to Adam Alexander.
Kyle Busch has been relatively quiet on the radio tonight, Rick, with the exception of early when his truck was a little bit on the tight side. But the only question he has had for crew chief Richie Waters, actually there have been 2 of them. One being under that last caution, are we good on fuel? And Richie assured him, yes, we can go the distance. And the other one, how are our lap times? There is no doubt he is pacing this truck, and when he needs to go, he does. I would be very surprised if anybody can come up and run with Kyle, Ray.
And you know, Adam, in the early days of this series, the very best battle out there was Ron Hornaday versus Jack Sprague. But right now, we've got a new battle developing in this series, and that's Ron Hornaday versus Kyle Busch. Let's take a look at Ron Hornaday's wins this season. He won at Charlotte, Milwaukee, Memphis, Kentucky, ORP, and Nashville. But guess what? In 4 of those events, there was no Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch finished 2nd at Charlotte and 10th at ORP. Now remember, Kyle has 2 wins this season also. He won at California and Atlanta. On those days, Ron Hornaday finished 6th and 7th. So a really good battle developing between these 2 drivers, Kyle Busch and Ron Hornaday.
And when you look at the big picture, obviously Ron Hornaday is going to be looking at the big picture. He wants to win another championship. He wants to be the first one to win 4 championships in the Camping World Truck Series, and he's well on his way to doing that, although a streak may end tonight.
It may, but I'm telling you, Ron Hornaday has not backed off taking points tonight. He's running that truck absolutely as hard as it'll go. He just doesn't have the truck right now, I don't think, to match Kyle Busch or Matt Crafton, who's running 2nd.
And remember, Matt Crafton is 2nd in the point standings right now, although he is 216 points back coming into this race. He is still in front of that 33 of Ron Hornaday.
You know, I think an interesting stat on Ron's streak. He won 5 in a row, but the 3 races prior to that streak of 5 wins, he was 26th, 19th, and 7th. So we really didn't see this streak coming, and he jumps on it, rolls off 5 wins in a row. Looks like he's going to come up short tonight.
5 laps to go here, Phil.
And we've talked about it. I love the fact that he's won on the different varied racetracks, too. And he's dominated, and he won races that he probably shouldn't have won.
I never will forget him winning at Kentucky because he just did not have the truck, and he restarted 6th position with just a handful of laps to go and passed every truck on the track. I still don't know how he did it.
And how about ORP when Mike Skinner had fresher tires than he did, and he held Mike Skinner off to the end in a great battle.
Mike Skinner came to the checkered sideways trying to get around Hornaday. He wanted that win bad, but that man right there held him off and won.
Remember, we've got to go the full distance, which is 200 laps here at Bristol Motor Speedway. That means there are 3 still remaining. The problem is Hornaday is 3.2 seconds behind Kyle Busch. And Crafton is also about 3 seconds behind.
But for the leader, a guy that only has to make 2 more laps at Bristol, no traffic, who would have thought that? You know, he's got an open racetrack for him. That's a great feeling because it happens so fast here. A couple trucks get together and mess up his night, but he's got clear sailing ahead of him.
But he doesn't want a caution flag. We could get a caution flag somewhere else on the racetrack and close everything up for a shootout.
Now, as Kyle Busch takes the white flag, 1 lap remaining at Bristol to make it 2 wins in a row at this race facility.
Just a textbook performance for that team tonight. He was fast. They hit their pit strategy head on perfect, and now he drives off turn 4 and takes the checkered flag at Bristol.
Kyle Busch, the spoiler for Ron Hornaday at Bristol Motor Speedway, but Kyle Busch gets back to victory lane in NASCAR.
Would it have been 16 or 17 races?
17 races it would have been if he wouldn't have been to victory lane, but he ends that slump, and Kyle Busch back on his winning ways. And Richie Waters back at crew chief for that team, and he gets another win in this series. Let's go to Adam Alexander.
Back atop the pit box for Richie Waters, and you're going back to victory lane with Rowdy at Bristol. How good does it feel?
Well, it feels great. You know, Kyle's a great race car driver, and we've had a great driver the second part of the year here with Eric too. You know, we're putting stuff together, and anytime me and Kyle get together, we know we can win races. So it feels great, and I want to thank Mikasuki and James Finch for helping us, and of course Billy Blue for everything that he does for his race team.
Only 1 pit stop tonight. Did you contemplate at all coming back after that early stop, Richie?
We thought about it a little bit, but the tires, you know, they're so hard here, and they're not falling off. And it seemed like when they cool down, you could run just like you had stickers on again. So we decided to stay out, and it was the right call tonight. So everything worked out. Kyle did a heck of a job driving this race truck again tonight.
I think he just smoked us out here.
Thank you.
Kyle Busch outside of his truck, right at the start-finish line, looking for that checkered flag once again. It's the 12th time that Kyle Busch has won in the Camping World Truck Series. This is back-to-back wins here at Bristol Motor Speedway, and his 3rd win of the 2009 season. California and Atlanta were the wins earlier this year. The streak comes to an end for Ron Hornaday, but an impressive finish. 3rd, he won't think that. But as far as the big picture goes, Ron Hornaday still strong in our points championship. Kyle Busch will head to victory lane. Matt Crafton finishes 2nd. Ron Hornaday, Ryan Newman, and Brian Scott will round out your top 5 here at Thunder Valley. We'll be back to hear from our winner after this. Welcome back. The O'Reilly 200 is won by Kyle Busch. That makes it 2 years in a row he is in victory lane. Let's go to Adam Alexander.
And if there is one word that describes Kyle Busch in the Bristol Motor Speedway, it would be domination. Including his circuits out front tonight, he has led more than 1,400 laps at Thunder Valley in NASCAR's Top 3 Series, and more importantly, he is back in victory lane. What is it about you in the world's fastest half mile?
I don't know, man. I love this place. It's fun for all of us drivers, but that was a little late. But you know, it's a fun place to race, and for some reason, I've really taken to the new surface. I love the old surface. I love the new one, so, you know, really got to thank Mikasuki, Toyota, NOS Energy Drink, the fans, you know, the great fans for coming out here on a Wednesday night. And luckily we got a day off tomorrow, but the fans don't. They got to go over to, you know, the Bristol Speed Street and have some fun over there. But thank Gillette, Marquis Jets, everybody else that makes this program possible. Billy Blue and putting Richie and I back together. You know, we knew we were going to come here with a fast truck. We've been fast every time we've been here, but you know, it was exciting to be able to capitalize like that tonight.
We are getting ready to go down the stretch in all of NASCAR's top series. You need a little work over on the Cup side. How can a win here get the momentum going for you?
It just gets the momentum going. It just tells you that you can do it, you know. You know, you finish 2nd, 5th, 10th, whatever, 3rd nationwide in truck series races, you know, and you can't win on the Cup side. It's like, man, it's a downer, you know. You don't feel very good about yourself. I'm myself's biggest critic, so you know, this definitely helps out, gets me back in the right mindset, gets me back in the right frame. I love coming to Bristol anyway in the fall time. You know, I always run well here. Looking forward to the nationwide race. We should have won 5 in a row on that side, but we've had pit issues or miscues by myself or whatever. So we'll get back on it. And I want to say congrats to Matt Crafton. And even though he finished second to me, you know, and Hornaday was third, it didn't really gain him any points. So he's trying to run up there and get those guys. We're trying to get the owner's deal, but unfortunately, 1, 2, 3 in points for 1, 2, 3 here tonight.
Good to see a smile on your face. Congratulations.
Thanks. It's good to be back finally.
Ray Dunlap.
And Adam, believe it or not, there's a big smile on Ron Hornaday's face. Even though the streak comes to an end, you got to be pretty satisfied with a third-place run tonight here at Bristol.
Yeah, I told Kevin the top 5 would be great here. I mean, you know, we just run into so much bad luck here. We run good, we just run into bad luck. And Rick Wynn made a great call on that last stop, or the only stop, I should say, on this Georgia Chevrolet. And it was cool. I mean, I learned a bunch. And, you know, Kyle is just so dominant up top, and he had his truck free enough at the beginning. And I learned that. And then when, you know, he pitted and came right back in for tires or for fuel, and that's what hurt us right there. And we lost so much track position right there. And my own fault. I should have been paying attention. I was following the guy out in front of me. But overall, 5 in a row. I got to thank all them fans and whatever they've been writing. And it's been a lot of fun. And now we can start all over again.
Ron, you've got a pretty comfortable point lead. I just wonder, as you look out through the rest of the season, any other big concerns for this team throughout the remaining races of 2009?
Well, just all the races. I mean, you just seen what happened there. I mean, we just you can run third all day long, but, you know, if Crafton keeps doing that, he's going to keep hitting points on us. So it was a good points day for us, and we'll take it. And, you know, we got Talladega coming up, another barn burner, and we got Martinsville coming up. So, heck, we don't know, but it takes a lot of people. And I got to thank Georgia Boots, VFW, Copart, Longhorn, Chevrolet, Mark Smith, everybody. It's been quite a ride, and we're not done yet.
They got a great-looking truck here tonight and a great finish. Ron Hornaday finishes third tonight at Bristol.
And one thing, Ron Hornaday can't be disappointed. Again, he joined the likes of Richard Petty and Bobby Allison as the only drivers to ever win 5 races in a row. So a very impressive run for Ron Hornaday, but it was Kyle Busch that made it to victory lane at Bristol. Saturday NASCAR race day blast through Thunder Valley, where we'll catch up with Matt Kenseth, David Rudiman, and Michigan race winner Brian Vickers to talk about their chase hopes. And Wendy Venturini sits down with Hall of Fame nominee Junior Johnson. Don't miss NASCAR race day built by the Home Depot live Saturday at 4:30 Eastern. NASCAR on Speed. The lights still burning here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Let's go back down to Adam Alexander.
And how about a career best at Bristol for Matt Crafton? Well deserved. It looked like you needed the green flag to stay out if you were going to have a chance to catch Kyle.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, our truck was unbelievable how good that thing was on a long run. It would not fire off. It wouldn't take off for about 4 or 5 laps, and it would just keep getting better and better as we went along. But I can't thank these guys enough. I mean, these guys busted their tails today. I mean, we were coil bound, and then last 5 minutes practice, we went conventional. And, I mean, we threw everything at this thing to go to start the race, and we had no idea what we had. And it was about 15 laps in the race. I said, I think we got a pretty good piece here, boys. But I said, I can't thank these guys enough. Menards, Chevy Silverado, I mean, the thing was good. I was just so sick when the yellow came out when there was like 20, 30 to go, because I thought we were better than him at that point on a long green flag run. Ours would keep going. They're reading me lap times. If they were telling me what my lap times were, I think we were better than him on long run. But it was, you know, crew chiefs always tell you you're catching the leader. But the thing was awesome on a long run. Like I said, again, I got to thank these guys.
Nice job tonight.
Thank you.
Ray?
Well, Adam, I believe Brian Scott has moved from 5th to 4th in the points with another good run here tonight. You started 5th tonight and ended up 5th. Are you pleased with that?
Yeah, it was a good night. There was times we thought we were better than 5th, and there was times we thought we were a lot worse. Jeff made a great call with 50 to go to come in and put tires on and see if we could get our Albertson Toyota Tundra to the front, roll the dice, maybe try to get a W for this team and for Toyota, you know, in the streak of Chevrolet victories. And luckily, a Toyota did break the streak, and that's awesome for Kyle Busch and Billy Blue Motorsports. But our Express Motorsports guys never gave up. We had a good night, and it's fun to race here under the lights with all the fans that were here to cheer us on, who just saw a good modified race, and then hopefully they just saw a good truck race, and they'll keep coming back in the next couple years.
You know, Brian, I want to talk to you about your hand. You guys have been really impressive how great this team's been on a roll, and I kept thinking, boy, Bristol could be one of those tracks where it'd be really hard on you. How did it hold up?
I'll tell you, I have to drive heck of a lot harder with a broken hand. I'm way more tired after this race than I ever have been. But our team, our Express Motorsports guys, I cannot say enough about them, because when adversity hit us with me breaking my wrist, it was like, oh God, how's our performance going to be now? And they've put in more man hours in the shop to keep bringing better Toyota Tundras to the racetrack. And we've been running really good, and it's just because they're putting in the time. They continue to develop our stuff, and they continue to give me a great race truck that's easy to drive, and my hand doesn't get in the hindrance of driving a good Toyota Tundra.
All right, congratulations. Brian Scott finishes 5th, and as I said, he should have improved in the points. Let's go back over to the other end of pit road with Adam.
And Ray, I guess all good things must come to an end. Kevin Harvick, the owner for Ron Hornaday's 33. 5 consecutive victories, 3rd tonight. So are you looking for a replacement to drive that truck or what?
No, I'd say it's just incredible to see the role that these guys have gone on, and with the whole team and Ron and Rick and everybody being a part of it in the shop. These guys on the 4 and the 33 put each other's trucks together, and they put the 2 truck together with the Nationwide guys. So it's fun to see everybody work together and winning races, and you don't ever know when you're going to win the next one, let alone 5 in a row. But good night all around for Georgia Boot and Pringles and the Fitzpatricks and everybody in the top 11, 2 trucks in the top 5. So hard to complain. This has been one of our worst racetracks for whatever reason as far as performance, and to have 2 in the top 5 tonight's a huge gain.
You talked about 3 trucks in the top 11, all the success for Ron. It's not been the best of years for you as a driver, so how much enjoyment have you gotten out of the ownership side in 2009?
Well, other than the Cup car, just having a miserable year on that side, really the rest of it's been really good. We got our first win in a nationwide car, and for the most part, that car runs in the top 5 every week, and we're able to win a truck race and see Ron win all his truck races, and I think we've won 7 out of the 15 truck races, so that's been fun, and this takes a little bit of pressure off of that, but Sundays have still been miserable.
Good luck the rest of the weekend.
Thank you.
Well, at least he has a smile on his face tonight. Again, leading in the points battle by 211 over Matt Crafton. Now, that is not the most anyone has led with 10 races to go.
Yeah, but with 10 races to go, Ron Hornaday has won at 5 of those racetracks, and 2 of them are new. So of the 7 racetracks that we've been to before, he has won on 5 of them.
227 points was the difference between Setzer and Musgrave back in 2005. And oh, by the way, Ted Musgrave went on to win the championship by 55 points. So a 282-point swing. Kyle Busch having fun at Victory Lane. Let's take a look at tonight's Touch of Gray winning touch moments. Obviously, we've got to talk about the 51 of Kyle Busch, but what a performance Jay White put on.
He sure did. This was a pass for the lead right here. This was the final pass, but Jay White had a great race. He actually led the most laps in this race, but Kyle Busch was strong as usual.
They say that Touch of Gray, just for men stuff, takes out most of the gray, but never all. I think Darrell would argue that. I think he's got it pretty much all gone.
Well, that was the Touch of Gray winning touch moment. Touch of Gray gets rid of some gray, never all. Adam Alexander.
And how about we hear from Colin Brown? The strategy was pit late, make it better, and rally to the front. And it was working for a little bit anyway.
Yeah, it was. We struggled there a little bit in the middle of the race, just being tight and being a little free in. And got it better there. We on that pit stop took 4 tires, and that's going to be the biggest thing for our number 6 Conway Freight True LTL Ford F-150 truck. That really helped it. It really came alive, ran up there pretty strong. Thought we had a shot at maybe getting up in the top 5, and then on that last restart something happened. I don't know if we had a shock brake or a tire going down or what, but it just got really, really free getting in, just really rolled over on the right front of the car. And I don't know exactly what happened. I'll have to take it back to the shop and see, but certainly thought we were going to be good there for a little bit.
Short track tonight, but back on the Speedway next week, and that's where your program has really shined. How optimistic are you as we head to Chicagoland for the first time?
Well, I'm optimistic about it. I'm looking forward to running that race. I feel like this was a good race for me. I just wanted to finish. That was my main goal, and obviously doing 30 to 40 laps in a wrecking here last year wasn't too good. So that was my biggest thing, was just to finish, and I feel like we had a lot better truck than what we showed tonight. But I guess that's part of having a new driver, rookie driver in the seat.
12th tonight for Colin Brown, Ray.
And Adam, coming into our race tonight here at Bristol Motor Speedway, David Starr had made 477 passes on track so far this season. That leads all drivers. So how many guys did you pass tonight?
I'll tell you, our Zachary Toyota Tundra was pretty awesome today. I don't know. I was just trying to pass everybody in front of me. A bunch of them were lap trucks, but our backs were up against the wall in practice. Our Zachary Toyota Tundra wasn't very good, but Jason Miller, all the guys on our HT Motorsports team, great morale. Their attitudes are great, and we battled back from adversity and had a great finish tonight, Ray, and just proud of my team.
You know, David, we look at the schedule. It's pretty heavy coming up. We go Chicagoland, then off to Iowa, and all through September, a race every weekend. Does that get you pumped up?
I love it, man. I love racing in this NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, and I wish they had about 5 more races. It's so much fun, and I can't wait till tomorrow. I mean, I know the race is next week, but I want to race tomorrow. But great series, tough trucks, tough racing, just great racing with this series.
All right, good run tonight for David Starr. Started 13th, moved up. Good run for the 2014.
For David Starr, it's a dream to drive in the Camping World Truck Series, and the prelude to the dream is coming up Wednesday, September 9th, 7 p.m. Eastern. They head to Eldora. Again, that one was rained out earlier in the year, and they will get it back underway. The HBO pay-per-view special prelude to the dream, September 9th, 7 p.m. Eastern. Kyle Busch, that's his 5th NASCAR win at Bristol. He's got 2 truck wins, 2 cup wins, and 1 nationwide win. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Ford. Different is good. Drive the Ford difference at your local Ford or Lincoln Mercury dealer. And by Atlanta Motor Speedway. Be there when the lights come on as NASCAR Sprint Cup night racing comes to Atlanta Motor Speedway on Labor Day weekend. Go to atlantamotorspeedway.com for event and special ticket information. Let's head back trackside. Adam Alexander with Stacy Compton finishing 9th.
When you don't qualify good at Bristol, it can make for a long evening, Rick. Stacy Compton knows that too well after tonight. But when it's all said and done, you finish 9th. Talk about your evening.
I mean, we went out first in qualifying, got us back 23rd starting spot. Marcus made a great call in the pits, got us some track position, and we ran there in the top 10 the rest of the night, and had a really good truck. I mean, awful proud of the guys with Safe Auto and Weiler, and you know, that pit call got us track position. The truck was good in practice. We just knew when we went out first qualifying that it wasn't what we wanted, but we'll take it. I mean, to come to Bristol to survive, I mean, we certainly wish we would have finished in the top 5, but to come here survive after starting 23rd, we'll take it. It's not what we wanted, but we'll take it.
Assess where you are right now as we head to Chicago next week and get on a decent run of consecutive weeks of racing.
Well, you know, we've talked leading up to this week, and the last really 8 weeks, we've been so good. Driver made a little mistake at Nashville and killed our primary truck, and that set us back just a little bit because we've been really good in practice. And every week we're unloading, and we're unloading on the right side of the chart and unloading and running into the top 5 and top 10. And week in and week out, if we continue to do that, we're going to finish in the top 5 and eventually get us some wins. So that's all we can ask for. You know, as a new team building together, you know, Marcus is, I think he's probably one of the most underrated crew chiefs there is out there, and awful proud of what they're doing. I mean, every week this Safe Auto Toyota is getting better and better. So I think performance-wise, we're about a B. Finishes, we've been about a C-. So we got a good stretch of races coming up. You know, Chicago, we've been there a lot in the Cup car and Nationwide car. We tested there in the truck last year. Got a lot of laps there, and I can't wait to go to that new Iowa track. I mean, it looks pretty fun. St. Louis is a good race for us. We've always run really good there. So we got a good stretch of races coming up, and just keep building. You know, just keep building week in and week out, and first thing you know, you're going to see that thing in Winter Circle.
See you next week.
Thanks, Sarah.
So Stacy Compton coming home in the 9th spot. TJ Bell was 8th. Good performance for Eric Almirola. Again, a different crew chief. They changed back. Richie Waters crew chiefing for Kyle Busch, and Doug George goes back to crew chiefing for Eric Almirola. Kyle Busch credited with 12 wins for Billy Blue Motorsports. They've got 13 to their name. Next week we'll be racing in Chicago, and to kick off the event, Camping World and NASCAR inviting the public down to Navy Pier's Gateway Park this Wednesday. So if you're in the Windy City, come down and see our own Ray Dunlap and drivers Todd Bodine, Colin Brown, Rick Crawford, and many more. It's the NASCAR celebration this Wednesday beginning at 11 a.m. For more information, you can go to campingworldofchicago.com. Let's go back trackside to Adam Alexander.
Remember about lap 100, you could see through the windshield and through the driver's visor the smile on Jason White's face when you were leading that race. How good did it feel to be out front tonight?
I tell you what, the battle with Kyle was awesome. The whole night was just a great night. I mean, to get this gunbroker.com Dodge up front and to be able to hold them off for 100 laps or so was pretty cool. And man, it was a great feeling. It was good. It was a good race, man. And wow, man, we didn't end up where we wanted to, but we showed them we were here.
13th, but no doubt about it, a solid run tonight for Jay White.
Well, I don't know if we should be disappointed that we didn't see history tonight with Ron Hornaday or celebrate the fact Kyle Busch is back in victory lane.
Well, that was his 54th win in the 3 major series of NASCAR, and that ties him for 10th all time with Lee Petty. And he's 24 years old.
Yeah,
not bad.
I feel like I've had a pretty good NASCAR career. He's had a career in one season. I mean, he wins more races than anyone, and I really enjoy seeing greatness. We saw it with Ron Hornaday making that streak 5 races in a row, and we saw it with Kyle Busch the season he's having in 2009.
Obviously a good season, but we've got Ron Hornaday looking to dominate once again in the Camping World Truck Series. He's got a 211-point lead over Matt Crafton. And our next stop, the 1.5-mile Chicago Land Speedway.
And he wants to start another streak there.
That'll be our first visit to Chicagoland.
It will, and it's a great racetrack, a fun place to race. But listen to this, Matt Crafton gained points. He just needs to keep gaining points. We know there can be big swings toward the end of the year. Look for Matt Crafton to stay after it.
Another strong performance for Matt Crafton, a stronger performance for Kyle Busch as he goes to victory lane once again in the Camping World Truck Series.
The Cup Boys may be off next week, but we're still trucking. Don't miss a second of the action as the trucks visit Chicagoland Speedway for the first time ever. It'll be Friday night racing at its finest when the trucks blow into the Windy City. It all kicks off with the setup at 8:30, live on Speed. Be there.